I've been in situations so many times where I'm arguing with people because I shared information that was personal to me with them in confidence, and they went in confidence too to go share it with other people. And those people kept on sharing it in confidence until it came back to me. And I know, I mean, sometimes there's that information that you just share with that one person. And when it comes back to you via some strange people you never thought would find out this information, then you know that it's that one person because she or he is the only person that you shared the information with. And I've been so upset. I've been so angry with people. I mean, I've had so many arguments like that. But the funny thing is that every time I'm going through something, or every time I have something big to share, but it is personal, then we keep going back to the same people. I mean, like, hey, I don't know if you ever do that, right? And they, of course, never disappoint. They will always again go share the information, and it's just a cycle that goes on for years, right? So I just wanted to talk to you who is like me at times, right, where you keep sharing information with this person. And I mean, really, you know by now that when I share with this person or with these people, definitely your news will go running around the whole town, right? But you still go back to those people. And right now, maybe you are very upset with a friend or a colleague or a family member who's shared your information that was very personal with other people, right? I just wanted to talk to you today and maybe share 3 points with you that are important that maybe you need to start thinking about before you share your personal information so that you're able to have peace with those around you. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner voice magnified. So my message for today is know your crowd. There are 3 things basically that I believe as the owner of personal information you must be cognizant of. The first thing is that if your information is as juicy as it is, or burdensome as it is, that you can keep it to yourself, when you share it, realize that as much as it is burdensome to you, or as much as it is juicy to you, it might just trigger the same reaction to the person that you are telling, right? Because we tell people all sorts of things that we don't expect them to share with other people. But if you are the owner of the information and you know how damaging that information can be to you when you share it, then why would you share it in the first place and still expect somebody else not to share it with other people? If something is meant to be a secret and you are the owner of that secret, then you better have a big chest to keep it in you, right? Keep it to yourself. Otherwise, when you tell somebody, just recognize the fact that it might trigger the same kind of emotions that that thing has triggered in you that led you to telling the person the information in the first place. The second thing is that we need to know the crowd. Guys, we need to know the people that are around us. We can't always be fighting with people because they are sharing our information and yet go to the same people every time we have problems or every time we have business that we need to share, right? We need to know who the people that are surrounding us are, how big their chests are. Some people just don't have, she can be a good friend, he can be the best friend that always has your back, but the weakness that they have is that they don't have a big enough chest to keep secrets. You must know your friends. Don't burden them with information that you know they won't be able to handle or they won't be able to keep to themselves and still expect them to keep it. You know your friends. You know how they are. So you should be able to choose the kind of ear that you feed your personal information to. Learn the people. Sometimes, okay, there is that friend who's always keeping your stuff, right? But then there comes a point where, your information is just too heavy for them. Sometimes maybe you are going through a lot at the same time and you keep offloading on them. At some point, this friend who had some chest to keep some secrets eventually becomes overburdened with your business because you keep sharing every 30 minutes of each day for the past 3 months. You've been sharing with this person all sorts of things that are going on with you. Plus their own burdens, it becomes heavy on them. They need to also offload. And unfortunately for your friend, when every time they have something to offload, they have that friend that is a publisher of news, right? And when they try and offload to them, then this person publishes the information to everybody. Sometimes it's just burdensome for people to carry the information. So when you're going through, especially when you're going through a lot, really some things are meant for prayer. You cannot expect one person to keep all that information that you're feeding them inside them. It is overburdening to their soul. At some point, we all need to offload, and your friend too, your trusted friend, might just need to offload. So it is important to really give people information in small doses. If you're going through a lot in 2 days, in a week, in 2 weeks, don't share all that information as soon as it happens with the same friend over and over again, spending 4 hours on the call every time you call them to share the same thing, to share how things are going wrong in your life, right? So you are overburdening your friend and you are putting yourself in a position where you might just find your information all over the place, and the next thing you know is you're fighting with a really good friend that you have. The third and last thing that I wanted to share about personal information is that we sometimes do have friends. We have cousins, we have people that we trust in our lives, right? But we don't always talk about the traumas that we have experienced in our lives. So you see me as this good person, or I see you as my friend, this great person who can handle anything that I tell them. But at some point, there is information that I might be sharing with a person that I trust that triggers some of the traumas that this person has experienced. So this is a person that normally can keep secrets, but then you tell them something that triggers something that happened to them, that eventually overburdens them, that hurts them, that sends them back to a time when they were very hurt or when they were traumatized, right? And when they get to that in that emotional state, they cannot handle themselves unless they open up to somebody about what you just shared, right? So because the information that you've shared has triggered a certain trauma in their lives, then they are forced to share your information so that they let out this hurt that has been triggered in them. The next thing you know, you are fighting with your friend. You are fighting with a trusted friend, a good friend. And sometimes you don't even take the time to ask the question but why now? I've shared with you this information over and over again. Personal information about myself I've shared with you. You've never shared my information? Why would you choose to share this specific information? Sometimes we don't even take time to ask that question. We are so quick to be judgmental, to be rude towards our friends, without even understanding where they're coming from. And we lose good friendships because we failed to recognize the fact that we have been overburdening the people in our lives. So if you cannot keep your business to yourself, then don't expect other people to. I know sometimes we need to offload, but it is important to choose the ear that you feed your personal information to. And you are not allowed to be fighting with a person who's already shared your information before when they share it again. If they've done it before, chances are they will do it again. If they haven't done it before, then that's a good time to ask the question, but why now, right? Don't be too quick to judge a friend that shares information when you know they normally keep your information. Don't reject a friendship that is good just because somebody made a mistake. Try and get into the psyche and understand what happened this time around. So when you know the people that are surrounding you, then it is easy for you to choose the kind of information that you have to share, if you really need to share your information. And at times there is that information that is just not meant to be shared with anybody. Guys, prayer is the solution. I'm the big advocate for prayer. Sometimes I feel like people are lazy to have a relationship with God that will to a point where they are able to share information and feel like really it is out of their system. When you have a strong relationship with God, you're able to say things in prayer to God and know that it is out of your system. And you know that once you've shared something in prayer with God, it still stays between you and Him, but it is out of your system. You've coughed it out. So it is important, again, to know the kind of information that is just not for sharing with anybody. And if you can't share it with anybody and you can't hold it in, then tell it to God. Have that kind of a relationship with God, because definitely that's the one person who can never disappoint you. But do not put your friends in positions where they have to decide at some point whether your burden is just too much for them and now they need to offload also to other people. If it is meant to be a secret, then keep it a secret. And that's how we have healthy relationships, and that's how you will enjoy peace in your relationships. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner peace and purpose coach.